Have you ever wondered what it's like to program a cool shader effect in Gamemaker Studio 2 that makes all your friends go, "Whoa, that's a cool effect, bruh"? Yeah. Well, now you can experience that. Part 1 out of 67. This is the shader code. Copy and paste it. Done. But if you want to be extra cool and tell your friends exactly how you came up with the idea yourself, this is what you're gonna tell them.
Oh yeah.
For my amazing upcoming indie game, I wanted a cool shield effect. And I only wanted it to use one texture so that it would be the highest performance possible. And I also wanted it to be procedurally calculated so that the animation could be infinitely smooth. But I just had no luck on the marketplace because all these people are noobs. So one day an image came to me in a dream, and I opened Photoshop to draw the wireframe of a 3D sphere, and then I drew step by step how to move these vaguely pulsating stripes that I imagined. Then I thought to myself, why don't I use RGB values as a gradient to tell the shader the direction of the shading animation? And I would use uniforms and variables to tell the shader how to progress. So I grabbed the gradient tool and I drew the black and white gradient, but wait. It's not 3D, so I opened the filter tab and I found the spheroids filter, and goddamn, a beautiful 3D gradient sphere appeared on my screen like a love letter from God to my magnificent brain. This is all the visual data we need to create this. But you are nowhere limited to this. We could also do the same thing we did in Photoshop and drag the spheroids filter the other way and then draw the shield both behind and in front of the character so the shield moves around the character. But you can do this with any image as long as there's some kind of gradient in it. And actually, since Photoshop isn't free, let's create a new image. We're gonna download a program called Blender and... Okay, open Blender and press the following buttons. Press X, left mouse button, Shift plus A, click Mesh, click UV Sphere, press S, press the number 3, press Enter, right click the sphere, shade smooth, hold Stat, select Render, release Stat, click the lighting hierarchy, press Alt plus G, press X, press 2, press Enter, press G, press Y, type -5, press Enter, press G, press Z, press 3, press Enter. Open the light property, set power to 70, cycler to 0, click on the camera icon, go to the render property, open the film tab, click transparent, go to the output properties and make the resolution 256 by 256, click on the world property, set the strength to 0,
F12,
press Shift plus Alt plus S, shape the file wherever you want, done! Easy. Okay, let's get into Gamemaker Studio 2. Yeah! Make a new project, give it the fitting name, Shader Shielder. Make an object. Shortcut. Alt plus O. Now we're gonna assign the sprite that we just made. So create a new sprite, press import, and open the file. Open the draw event and type the lines that are engraved into your brain.
Shader set, shader 0, draw, cell, shader reset. Yeah!
Okay, amazing. Now let's make a new shader.
Shader!
Where are you? What? Oh, there. Open it full screen and first and foremost bully this vertex shader for being useless. Who you think you are, you stupid useless piece of vertex? Just close it. You always take it too far. Anyway, this is no longer a simple pass-through fragment shader. Now it's gonna be an epic cool Guess what time it is?
Uniforms.
Oh yeah, it's uniform time, baby. So we're gonna add a uniform and we're gonna call this first uniform time, and it's gonna be a float. Bam. We're also gonna add a uniform boolean for smooth because we want to be able to make it either smooth or hard edges. Then we're gonna add a uniform for thickness. Finally, we're gonna add a uniform for the number of stripes. Alright, let's go back into our shield and start adding them into here. So I'm gonna say time is current time times 0.0 what? Now I'm gonna say smooth is true. The thickness is gonna be 0.1, doesn't really matter, do whatever. And then the number of stripes, I'm just gonna start with 1, we'll work on that later. Also, this isn't red. I guess we're gonna do this then. Okay, now let's add the uniforms themselves. So go uni time is shader get uniform shader 0 shader 1 and time. And we're gonna do the same thing for the smoothness. Okay, and now we have the uniforms. Now we need to apply them. Okay, now we have all that set up. Let's get back into our epic cool shield shader. The first thing I want to do is save the alpha values of the sprite. Let's call that the mask. It's going to be a float. We're just going to get the texture 2D base texture vtext chord. And we're just going to use the alpha value, so .a. Now we're going to use the RGB values to determine the point in time. So let's call this point in time. And we're going to use texture 2D base texture vtext chord. And we can just use the red channel because we're going from black to white and all values will be the same for the red, green and the blue channel. And one final adjustment I want to make here is do one minus, because I think it's easier to visualize it going from white to black because your eye gets drawn to the brightest point first, so it's just easier. Now we're gonna add a new vector 4, we're gonna call it outColour. We're just gonna fill it with a white transparent vector 4. And now the GL frag color is gonna be text color times outColour. Every pixel now is gonna be transparent and white, and we're gonna multiply that by the image blend so you can still draw your red and blue shields or whatever color you feel like. Okay, so first we're gonna check if the mask value, so the alpha value, is bigger than 0. If this is the case, we're gonna draw stuff. So since we want the stripes to be smooth with a fall off from the point in time, we're gonna calculate the distance, and it's gonna be point in time minus time. And because time is gonna go from 0 to an endless number, we're gonna modulate time by 1. So it keeps going between 0 and 1, and once it passes 1 it goes back to 0 and goes slowly again. So now if distance is smaller than thickness, which is this girl, we're gonna do one more thing, and that is normalize this distance because we want the distance to go from 0 to 1. Distance divided by thickness. Now, because we're gonna use the smooth one as a boolean, we can just do this. Alpha is, and then if it is smooth, then we're gonna do 1 minus normalized distance. And otherwise it's just gonna be 1, because then whenever the offset is smaller than the thickness, it's gonna be fully white. And then finally, the outColour.a is alpha. It is white, but it was transparent, and now it has this new custom set alpha thing. Right about now, we'll go into the room and then add the shield sprite here. And let's see what happens. This was maybe a little bit overkill, so let's go with this one. Wow, isn't that gorgeous? But one thing that we noticed that's not very gorgeous is that once it hits this point, it just disappears. So it starts going around perfectly, but once it gets to the end with the center point, it's gone. And I will now explain to you why that is. The reason this is happening is because we're checking the distance from the point in time. And the point in time goes linear. And we're checking an area around this point in time, right? Yeah. And when it's going beyond 1, this means that it's looping again. And now we're trying to check the distance between this point and this point, and that's a very long distance.
And now the solution.
Instead of looping it from 1 to 0, we're just gonna make it go up and down And we're gonna check the distance this way. And the distance between these on the vertical axis is exactly what we want. So back into the shader, here we have the distance as it was. But now we're gonna change it by just multiplying it by 2. And then once it passes 1, we're gonna do 1 minus distance minus 1. Let's see if it works. And now we see it going to the end. Oh, and it keeps going. It is beautiful. Alright, we're getting close now. Give it a hand for yourself. Good job, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. Now there's only one more thing to do in the shader, which is add multiple stripes. So we multiply this point in time by the number of stripes. And we also modulate it past 1. Oh no, I made a mistake. I'm so sorry, but I can't be bothered going back and re-recording this. Remember to keep these floats, otherwise you will get error. You should actually also multiply your time by the number of stripes, but because we may want to be able to change that during the playtime, I'm not going to do that here. I'm actually going to do that in the object itself. So let's swap these around. For example, instead of doing current time, which is actually really bad, you should actually just have a time variable in the create event and then go to the draw event. And then we say time plus is, and then we do, I don't know, speed, and then I'm gonna set the speed to stripes times 0.001. And now we can also multiply with time delta by, and now we're here anyway. Let's put the number stripes to 2. And there are the multiple stripes, but there's one problem, and that is, since we're multiplying the point in time with the number of stripes, we're making the stripes thinner. A convenient way to automate this is just to divide the distance by the number of stripes. So let's do a new one, distance 2, divided by stripes, and then we're just gonna change all these distance. Oh, it's working. I'm as surprised as you. So the shader is done, but we want to make it a little bit more convenient for ourselves to use it. So let's create a new script, press Alt plus C, press F2 and type shader set shield. Now we get back into our draw event and we can just move all this. And we're going to input time, smooth, thickness, stripes. Get back into the draw event and we type shader set shield. And then we're just going to put the time here. Now we made it very easy to use. Even in 6 months when you forgot everything about this shader, you can just do this. Shader, set, shield. You say, oh, it needs time. Okay, I guess I will do current time times 0 or my custom time variable that works with delta time. It doesn't really matter right now. And we make it smooth. I don't want to make it smooth and I want to make it thick. Yeah, I want to make it thick. I'm going to do 0.5 and we're going to do 3 stripes. And then we're going to do draw self. And shader reset. Place a new object into the room, and it's working. It's not very pretty, but it's working. It wasn't that easy. We just made the cool shield shader effect, and you came up with it. You executed it. It's perfect. Proud of you. Couldn't have done it better myself. I literally could not have done it better myself. Because I did it, and it was just as good as we just. Anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for the view. Goodbye.